Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Mandy, and this is Love Sober,
the podcast for the sober and sober curious.
Hi, and welcome back to Love Sober, the podcast for the sober and sober curious. And this is the last one of 2021.
Goodbye. Good riddance.
Goodbye. 161, isn't it? We just said
something like that. Yeah,
161. We've recorded another 50 this year, dude. Another 50.
Unbelievable.
So we're going to have a little look at the new year. Yeah, so this will be our New Year's one, won't it? Looking back a little bit of reflection, but not too much on the years that's gone by, and looking at a little look into the new year, seed wishes, word of the year, intentions, those kind of little practices that we set at this time of year, welcoming in the new.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
So how are you, Mand?
Next question.
Yeah.
I am excited to start a new year. I just kind of, I enjoyed writing my intentions list. I was just like, okay, like literally bye. Let's start new. So I'm all right. I'm not great, dude, but it's been a difficult end of year, but I'm here.
Yeah, still breathing. Yeah.
You?
I'm all right, actually. I'm all right. I'm all right. But I think that I've managed to have more rest. And if I hadn't managed to have more rest, I wouldn't be all right. So I think that, I wrote a blog yesterday, and it was about after COVID. After having COVID, it was almost this enforced sort of rest. And I wanted to carry on with that as much as I possibly could, because I knew that I needed to for health, but I needed to for mental health too. And so, things have worked out like that. And a quieter Christmas, less work, clients dialing down their staff, ending with a couple of clients. It just allowed me a little bit of breathing room. And I honestly feel so much better just for having that bit of a break, 100%. And also it's kind of quite uncomfortable as well. I was surprised at, even though I kind of talk about this stuff all the time, I'm full of let's ask a coaching question about this, and what might you need to do to rest? And it's like applying it to myself is so different. And the chasm of not knowing and of stopping and just that arrival kind of thing at myself is so freaking uncomfortable every fucking time. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh, okay, here again. I mean, done, yeah, but I now have that perspective that if I just allow it, it does shift and it goes through, and then it's all right again.
Yeah.
Well
done.
Thanks. You asked me to, I'll be like, I'm shit. But today I'm all right? And that's kind of how it goes, right?
It is indeed.
Yes. So this time of year is like, I remember us talking about this before, and there's sort of that kind of saying goodbye to the old year and ushering in the new year. I get the feeling that the less we say about the old year, the better.
It never happened, dude.
So, but I'll say just briefly though, I'm really proud of various things this year. I'm proud of us for getting another book out. I'm proud of the 50 podcasts. I'm really proud of you for managing the house move and all the stuff, and the stretch zones that you've been through, and the fact that you are still able to, you're still breathing, but you still have a laugh, and you're still able to see some bright spots, and you've done amazing. So I'm like, looking back on you, I'm super proud of you. I really am. So there you go. I'm proud of us too.
Yeah.
And
I'm proud of you as well, because yeah, it's been a lot, right? It's been a lot, family wise, work wise, health wise, you know, it's been a lot. Yeah.
It has. So that's that out of the way. And now as we do the kind of sacred bow, which is kind of, I always see as a bit mooning the old year going, fuck you. It's like now. So it's a horrible image.
Oh, God, yeah.
To onto the new year, onto 2022.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because I think when you're drinking and when you're kind of stuck in those pyrals. I was just thinking of those spirals. You are so caught up in the past, aren't you? And like just like those patterns and thinking about things that you've done, thinking about the shame that you have, the things that didn't go right, for thinking about all, you know, how it used to be, and just so sort of stuck in the past. And there is that kind of, like kind of magic of, I mean, it was a fucking shit year. And really, it's just was. Like kind of like, okay, but that kind of magic of just going, oh, all right, okay, but what's next? All right, brilliant. I'm going to set some intentions for things to be a bit different next year. I'm going to give a word to it of something that I hope for. Yeah, it's hope, essentially, isn't it? It's hope for brighter times, so, you know, thank goodness for that, because that's where, you know, that's where the darkness is when you're stuck in that drinking spiral and things are shit, you can't see a way out, you know. And I just, honor the having, you know, keeping it real for a moment, and having lost people this year, you know, to suicide, who were under the influence when it happened. It's like, that's the dark fucking, you know. So it's like, thank fuck for us being sober, because this year was incredibly tough, you know. And and that might be something to get my activism on for next year. But there's this thing around suicide that even calling it suicide when someone is under the influence, you know, it's like, that's not really the case, right? Like, you know, it should be accidental death by alcohol. And I'm so tired of the fucking statistics in the UK, because it's not the same here in France. But the statistics on alcohol deaths are fucking bullshit. Like, they're wrong. Like, all that they statistically say in the UK is people who die directly from cirrhosis of the liver or directly from alcohol. And it's like, so what happened? Where are all the statistics of all the accidents that happen? People that fall down the stairs, people that fucking, you know, cut themselves, or people that, you know, are depressed and drink too much, and in that moment of psychosis think, you know, my life's not worth living right now. So anyway, sorry, that was a really dark tangent moment there, but it's something that came up for me, and I just want to honor that it's fuck alcohol, basically. Like, I'm so fucking over this bullshit conversation and this messaging that we get all the time, that alcohol is essential in our lives, that it helps us, that it soothes us, that it makes things better, that it's a treat, that it's our friend, that it's, you know, essential for bonding. And actually it does the absolute opposite, and it takes away people that we love. It causes violence, it creates problems in relationships, it ruins your fucking health. And, you know, and we wouldn't have survived this year. We would not. No. The amount of shit that you have been through and the amount of shit that I've been through, we would not have survived if we were drinking. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I want to honour that as well, you know, and I'm so sorry for your losses this year, and absolutely 100% right. 100%. And it's like you can dance around the issue, we can skate around it, we can try and make people feel comfortable if they're, with the sober curiosity, but that's basically it.
Yeah.
Let's call a fucking spade a spade, dude.
Yeah. But anyway, what the joy of sobriety gives you is it gives you options, and it gives you choice, and it gives you fucking opening up and hope, and and setting intentions. And I enjoyed it. I've got my intentions list here. I don't know about you. Have you decided your word of the year?
Well, I've got a couple of different options. And one feels very bold. One is my kind of safe option, and one is my super bold option, and both are fine. And I think I'll probably use both, actually.
Yeah. Go on, tell me.
Go? Okay, so this one, my first one, my safe one, came to me when I was doing yoga, and I've got to give a shout out to Silas, Bryony and Silas. And Silas is Bryony's husband, and he is a beautiful yoga teacher in his own right. And I really, really value the way he holds space as a man for us, for me, because I don't have any experience of that, in my upbringing growing up. Obviously, I've got a wonderful husband, but I really appreciate him, and some of the sort of questions he was asking when we were doing our yoga practice sort of opened this up. And I remember in Shavasana, as I was lying down at the end, I thought, what is it? And I keep getting this phrase come to me that was just, it was heart and it was ground, and it was heart and it was ground, and it was heart and it was ground. And it was just like, it was like heart ground. It had to be both. So the idea is that I am super cerebral, like always in my head, the analysis quickly kicks into any given situation. So anything that brings me down into my heart space gives me a different answer, and a better answer usually. And if I can ground myself, like properly get, into that yoga space, or that into my body, that gives me a different answer as well. And I need both of that to sort of balance it all up. So heart ground was my first one, and that is my safe. That feels like that's going to be my anchor.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? There's like one's an anchor, and one's I don't know what it is until you tell me.
Okay, my other one just came to me the other night, maybe the night before last, and when I say it literally knocks the very breath out of me, and it's arrival. And I get shivers all over me of like, fuck, I just want to arrive in my life. I'm ready to arrive. I want to arrive. I'm here. Like, I'm here. And I get a cold gust of wind hits me when I say that word. So there's something there, but it's also a bit scary. So I might go back to the heart ground.
But I love it. But isn't that the essence though, isn't it? Is that dance, right? Of, of the push and the pull, and the like, the safe and the scary, and the that is the dance of And I think we said the other day of that I think one of the problems with this year was too much push without that soul anchor of like of that grounding, in our workspace, that there's been things that we've done or where it's been like we pushed through, but was it really like what fed us internally, that grounding kind of thing?
Yeah,
true, and it is that kind of push pull. You need both. You need a bit of both. Oh, I like it. What about your intentions?
Oh, my intentions haven't really got any yet.
Brilliant.
I got
maybe that's your intention.
Yeah. I think maybe just to see what arrives and where I arrive. I'm still in that, very much in that I just need to rest and have space. I think that's it. It's like not pushing, and seeing it's like, you know, the cycle that we've been working with. It's trying, yeah, it's not pushing anything. It's almost like that. And I don't know. And then once I've rested enough, I think it's to honour the cycle. I think that's my intention, is just to honour that cycle of rest, restore, you know,
rewrite, reignite,
rewrite, reignite, and then just let the cycle have its own pace instead of trying to push the wheel so hard.
Well, just to explain what we were talking about there before, we've been working a lot about the end of this year about what we do at Love Sober, and when we work with people and people come on our courses and life school, you know, what's our methodology really for sustainable sobriety, you know, when we work with clients. And so we came up with this R for balance method, which is essentially, you know, that rest, you know, you take a break from alcohol, you have permission to pause. And this isn't just about when you stop drinking, that this can be anywhere in that kind of personal development journey. And then you restore, which is like you take time to, you know, for self-care, to look after yourself, to, you know, come back to yourself in terms of what you used to love, you know, before things got complicated. And, you know, quite often, you know, we know the answers, but we just sort of move too fast, you know, so there's something about that kind of grounding and coming back to yourself. And then, you know, we rewrite the story about what was going on for us and what we want to happen next, you know, that kind of intention and that change. And then we reignite, and then we come back out, you know, like the caterpillar coming out of the chrysalis and into the butterfly. And then we come into a new cycle, kind of, you know, brighter, stronger, you know, excited and, you know, ready to kind of fly into sort of the next part. I think I might be in that rewrite area, you know, at the moment it feels like I'm in that transition period. And so, you know, when we looked at what we do and how we structure our courses and how we believe people stay in Love Sober, that was what we did and what worked for us in the end. And what we needed was that, to honor that. And the fact that cycle, you know, comes up again and again. It's not like you go through it once. It's like you get so far.
Well, and it's like nature's cycles, isn't it? It's that spring, summer, autumn, winter follows that. It's the sort of, you know, it is a universal kind of growth cycle of things on the planet, and how our life cycles follow that, and our learning cycles follow that. And
you know, and I think what's happened in the past in terms of kind of traditional recovery programs, or in terms of that kind of, you know, challenges, or, you know, do dry January or whatever, it's very linear. It's very like, you know, get to the goal and then everything will be different. And it's actually like, I don't think, especially for women, we work like that. You know, we take time, we mull things over, we you know, we develop, we evolve, and then we come out stronger, you know, and it goes into this cyclical thing. And, you know, we've been talking about very much through the transitions of being a woman, you know, in terms of your period cycles, in terms of your, you know, not being a mum, then being a mum, and then not, you know, then your kids leaving home. All of these things are kind of transitional cycles, or not being a mum and that not being part of your journey, and how that impacts you because of how society sees women. But so that's kind of exciting. That is an exciting intention for next year, in order to be able to share more about what that looks like and how we work, and be a bit more vocal, I suppose, about the work that we do. You know, because we do good work, and we have an amazing community of women who really support each other. And it's time that kind of, we stopped apologizing as well. For that, you know. So anyway, in terms of my word of the year, so I had two as well. We're so naughty, aren't we? And one is more safe, and one is more stretch.
Mm.
Because I do feel like I'm in a transitionary period. Like, so brave came to mind, because, I live in France, I've lived here for 15 years, nearly 16 years. I've just worked for a whole week in French, living with a client, speaking French all day, every day. And I hold myself back because of my French, there's a therapist that I've been looking at for about 8 months, but, it was in French. So I was like, oh no. There's different clubs. I'd really love to learn to dive. I'd love to sort of, get more friends and stuff like that. But I hold myself back. So there's something about being brave, and just doing the things that I really want to do. But today, in my current fragile state, that feels a bit scary. And the other one is light. I really need things to be light. And interestingly, a few different people talked about, like, light has come to me in different languages. Like, I was talking to one client and their dog was called Lumen, which is, I believe, light in Swiss German or German. And then someone else was talking to me about a jewelry brand that they created, which is called Light. I think it's in Spanish, but I can't remember the name. And I just need lightness. I know that I feel better when it's light. I think that's my kind of like anchor of just like let it be light
in.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I had a proper tingle when you said light. It's like, all of that. It sort of reminded me, I had a chat, I've had a couple of chats recently with, it was part of the Tara Brach thing about the word desire, and when we're in a desire cycle, when we're grasping, when we're trying to get stuff, that sort of addictive thing, is the word desire comes from Latin, which means separated from your star, away from your star. And there was something when you said about light, which made me feel like, there was something there, like being back with your star, but in all the light, and the light from the sun, which is the star. And
I do beautiful.
Do you mean lightness as in light, the energy being light as well?
Both. So it's that sense of like, of, because I thought it was grounding, because there's obviously a lot of my trauma recovery which is still around being in my body and being able to be, safe in my own body and in it. But there's also the heaviness that I carry all the time in my body. That being able just to hold my shoulders up and let myself be light, not hide, sort of turn towards rather than away. And one of the only times I remember when I did sort of meditate and I felt light and I felt safe was when someone went through a guided kind of, the chakras, but using the idea of a white light and following the white light. So that's kind of my intention, is around light and lightness. And also just having fun and not everything being so fucking hard, which comes to my intention list, which is play more, slow down, get back in my body, learn to really cook, turn off phone more, be confident in my French, learn to scuba dive, keep exploring, travel with friends, say no more, be lighter, turn towards, heal, laugh, dance, make a home, invest in living, paint nails, find my style, read all the books, be, watch, listen.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's an amazing list. I love it.
I should probably write in a journal more, because I don't do that. And like there was no thought in that list. It was literally just like blah blah blah.
And
then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's us. So think about, let us know what your word of the year is. And I put on Instagram yesterday, I think it was, but do let us know who you'd like to hear on the pod. If you've got inspiring people that or leaders in the community, or ordinary folk with stories of sobriety, healing, let us know. We're always interested to hear different people that we might not know. There's so many different communities, so many different amazing work that's going on in this space. Like, let's hold each other up. And so if just get in touch.
I feel very much like this year could be about opening up. I get that sense. I feel like you've just reminded me of my intention, and it's something I've just already started, which is this course called Write and Shine, which is just early, they've got some early morning things, and I just did set some time aside for an early morning writing practice just for me. And this idea of I just want to play too, like be creative. And it feels like I just want to write things to open up.
Yeah.
I think me and every other fecker, right?
Yeah.
It's like enough lockdown. But that kind of exploration and hearing other people's stories. 100%. We want to hear from people and chat to more people. Okie dokie. So here's wishing you a happy new year, and we'll be back next week. And in the meantime, stay safe, send up a flare. Soberistas again, I did a little blog on there yesterday, actually, and it's such a beautiful space too. And they have an anonymous Ask the Doctor service. So you can always sort of send up a flare there. Also, got to give another shout out to She Recovers, right? Been chatting to those girls they've given an amazing amount of support. The After Dark sessions that they did, they ran hourly meetings, handing over, it's like a baton from a coach to another coach to another coach, with all through the Christmas period. And it was just an amazing marathon of support for people. They're just
they are brilliant, beautiful,
amazing, beautiful women, aren't they? And also, Recovery Coach Academy here. I've got to give a bit of a shout out this year to Neetha and Khalees for just being super supportive of that, of expanding that conversation in the UK, and all the support they give people. They're just diamonds as well. And all of our people that we know as well. It feels like it's like now it's going into an Oscar. I'd just like to thank, but all of our sober mates.
Yeah, and and the women in our community, like, they're amazing and they look after each other. And I'm just really proud that we created a space which is just not, there's no judgment, and there's no just come back, just come and say hi. Like, it doesn't matter how many times it takes you, how many times you slip or drink or whatever. Like, we will never say anything other than oh, hi, nice to see you again, crack on, join in, and that there's just some brilliant women in our community who we're really thankful that help us to do support groups for women online and just really support us. And so thanks to those ladies who know who they are.
Thank you, my loves. All right then, so we'll see you next week for more chat. Stay safe.